Greetings, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he, him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice-of-life game by Monte Cook Games. There is nothing you can do to get away from it. We're here now. No. I just saw that in the chat. We are integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously. So we have another guest today. We are working our way through all of our guests. We're going to go around and we're going to say hi to everybody. Feel free to say who you are and who you're playing. And we shall start today with Arras. Hello.
I have to unmute. Hello. I'm Arras. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm playing today Eroshka Ruzik, aromatic empath apostate who converses with everything, who also uses she, her pronouns.
Awesome. And now let us go over and say hello to Wilde.
Yes, hello. I'm Wilde. I go by he, they pronouns, and I am playing Shantano, an itinerant empath of the Order of Apostate who splinters into fragments. They use they, them pronouns.
Excellent. And Anino, hello.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. I play Mac the Husk, itinerant enthusiastic of the Order of the Goetica who provides a vessel for spirits. They, them pronouns.
And finally, our guest today, Sam, hello.
Oh, hi. I'm Sam. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Obi2, a bizarre stoic of the Order of Makers who listens to spirits, who uses he, him pronouns.
Awesome. Excellent. So before we dive in here, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for any of the players, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're doing okay, and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we are moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then someone else can respond to that again, everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. Stuff. How does this game work again? Apparently we engaged with the rules last time, and my brain is still slightly melted from that, but I shall do my best. Because last time I know that a bunch of folks fought the Seeker of Souls, held the Axon's hand mirror next to it for a few for about 15 seconds, and then reality reversed itself, and the Seeker disappeared, and at that time leaving that impression that it's like, well, you know, if I cannot be with the one I care for the most, I may as well not exist. Swapped places with the street. The street now exists once again. Limerence Street, in particular, a street that was missing until very recently. There was a certain amount of prep going on beforehand. I can't remember all the specifics. There was a shoe store. I seem to remember there was a shoe store, and the acquisition of the mirror. But the main thing to recall now is that Limerence Street is now, in fact, back and working as an actual street that exists. And so people were kind of wanting to go various ways to do various things when that occurred. I want to take care of a tiny bit of housekeeping first real quick, because we didn't directly address this as we were building up here, so I just want to make sure we address it now. Obi, do you know anyone here? Is there any of these other characters? Is there was there a bond or something that you wanted to throw at one of them, or something where? you think
Oh,
you might know
wow.
each other?
You put me on the spot real quick.
Welcome back!
Yep. This is fine. I think I had said, like, if anybody had gone to school, I'm okay with being a classmate of somebody's, from not currently, but beforehand, back in the day.
Before the war.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know. I'm gonna throw that out there, and then if somebody wants to catch it, they can. If not, I'll fall, and that's fine.
I feel like
gosh.
Aroshka probably went to school. She's extreme levels nerdy, or at least she was.
Yeah. Sure, that's entirely possible. It's gonna be somebody that you knew back in school.
Yeah, and like, just like, you know those people that you're like, oh, I knew them, we weren't part of... I'm sorry, my dog, like, decided to obnoxiously sit right next to me. Just, you know, one of those people who, like, you're like, oh, I knew them, but we weren't part of the same friend circles, but, like, we didn't hate each other, just a neutral person.
Since this is
Kind of weird kid.
Aware of one another's existence.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, since that memory goes back to before you were events, it might even be easier for you to remember it. You might actually recognize him, Aroshka. So you might actually. It's like, wait a minute, this is someone I know. But I'll leave that up to the two of you when that happens. It's going to be very interesting indeed. I believe a lot of people wanted to do a lot of different things as this whole thing was coming to fruition. And Shantano was not there when the Seeker was restored. I'm trying to remember where we last left Shantano. Wilde, do you have any ideas? You remember?
It's after the ritual. We got all the information from the
yes, that's right. You all spoke to Igthamad of the 8 pathways, and you were able to gather that information, and which makes me wonder what you've been doing since you had your chat with Igthamad and escaped from Karen.
I feel like Shantano was again researching about the what was it? About the Golden Road and about the dark side area.
That's right.
The Dark Sun, and lost track of time. As far as they're concerned, they were supposed to meet today to deal with the Seeker.
Excellent. That works for me. Yeah. So you've been doing you're doing some research about the this oncoming thing that the Gold may or may not have to deal with. As you were reading through that book, which I don't think I properly titled, but I think I keep calling How to Destroy the Sun in 12 Easy Steps. Gold edition. And there's something I'm looking for in my notes now, and I have utterly forgotten what it is, so I'm going to put my notes down until I remember what it was that I'm looking for. But it was somewhat relevant to what you were doing. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a card to see if we can find out a little bit about what you were researching. And what can it's about this. It's about the gold specifically. We were up to a lot of cards. Oh, that's not good. We were up to a lot of cards last time, but I'm just going ahead and resetting it since reality is different now. What card did I draw, you may be wondering? Well, I'll tell you. The card that I drew is the Jackal. This is the nemesis of mysteries. We've had the Jackal before, I think, but as a brief reminder, it means intimidation, power, ruthlessness, dark magic, necromancy. Some think it's a literal being, some think it's just a symbol on a card. It has everything to do with what people who are non-magical folks believe about or fear about Vizsla. Threatening displays of destructive power, dark soul-twisting spells, ruthless, unforgiving magic that taps into death, demons, and worse. In divination, while most see the Jackal as a dire omen of dark magic and ruthlessness, some embrace the power he represents. To be certain, this card can be a threat, or it can be an offer. The person in question may want to take precautions against the effects of hexes or other dangerous magic, the intervention of demonic spirits, or simply an angry Vizsla. The Jackal can, in some instances, be equated to any figure in power, not just magical power or authority. But even then, usually, I can't read, only to a ruthless or intimidating figure. Okay. Yeah. So, you're sort of reading through about this, time is getting away from you. You've been reading through, trying to figure stuff out about the collapsing conundrum, he said, finding his note. The idea of doom through stabilization. And there is this... Apparently, there is a group of Elderbren, native to the Gold, who are on the night side of the Gold, and apparently there is a legend that they are guarding something that is holding the universe together. And there comes a point in your studies that upon your shoulder, it seems as though you can still hear Igthamad's voice a little bit. Kind of giving you the idea of, like, it's just really a question. Do you want to tap into that power source?
And that's the power source that they're guarding?
Yes.
I think that's holding everything together?
Yes.
Oh my. Shachino can't say no to that.
There are... So those demon bits we talked about.
Shantano is just the overly curious person. No.
Those demon bits we talked about would be quite useful in the opening of that way. Should you decide to do it, it would involve a trip to the Red. But there is a way to use them to directly access and unlock the collapsing conundrum. There are rituals to get at them, and if you are patient, I can teach you.
Rituals to get the demon bits?
No. To make use of them once you've got them.
Well, I do like a good ritual.
Very good. We have much to do soon. But we need not worry about that right this moment. As there's more to do in the more immediate sense. So I will ask first, Arushka, what you were going to be doing once the street was restored.
I was gonna go visit my old house again. Mostly to see if all of my creepy notes are still there.
Okay. I will come back to that in just a moment. Mac, was there something in particular you were going to do once the street was restored?
Yeah, Mac was going to go look for Darren of the Numa, but I think he's actually going to accompany Aroshka to on her task first.
The house. Okay. Well, that'll work out nicely. I'm going to use the wonders of narration to just have everyone suddenly meet in the same place. So, I will say, Shantanu, it's occurred to you that you kind of need to get over there if they're doing that ritual. You've been bewildered to find out there's another street there now. As you were heading up. It seems as though Limerence Street is back. It's exactly where it is exactly where you last remember it being.
So everyone's there and can walk up to them, right?
Well, yeah, so what I think is going to happen also, and we've also spoken briefly, I've also spoken briefly to Sam about some things that you've sort of been hunting around for, and you're also sort of, there are also some resources down on Limerence Street you heard about that perhaps you can go and find. Again, is sort of stuff in the office of Darren of the Numa. So what I think is going to happen is the first thing that will happen is that I think Obi, I think you're going to, as you're sort of heading down, there is a house that looks like a giant book that strikes you as familiar. And I think you're going to be examining it for a little bit. You can't quite yet find a way to open it, but you've been looking around it. So Aroshka and Mac, you are heading bookward. And this will be when Shantanu comes onto the street and is going to see the two of you. And you will also see Shantanu unless Shantanu does not wish to be seen.
No, Shantanu is not trying to hide. So I guess they walk up to the group and they're like, "Hey there, so are you ready to go take on this secret now?"
Oh, we did that. It was bad, but it's done now.
What? No, we were meeting today to take on the seeker.
No, we met yesterday.
Oh. Oh, well.
Were you doing something else?
Yes, it was much more important, obviously.
Oh. Well, I hope it was fruitful.
Very. I have more rituals.
Oh, more rituals. Great. Well, I was gonna go visit my old house, and I point to the giant book. I used to live there.
As you folks are looking over at the giant book, you will notice someone comes around from the side of it, just sort of looking it up and down. Sam, what does this person look like?
Oh, so this is like a very ordinary looking guy. Slightly small, except for the fact that he's wearing like this bright like plaid shirt, but it's like the ugliest colors, like this bright orange with some like neon green, some pinks, some like hot pinks thrown in there. And he's wearing bright like fire engine red shorts. white socks. We gotta be a little, you know, we're not completely crazy, you know, some white socks. And then some, like, bright blue shoes, like a royal blue. And he's just standing there, I guess, or walking around. But, yeah.
Areshka, you actually do know this person from somewhere. You recognize this guy.
Do I recall this brightly colored person's name? As I squint at this person who's looking at my old house.
Yeah, you think their name is You think their name is Obi? It's been a long time since you've seen them.
I'm gonna be like, sounding like I'm not really 100% sure I'm saying the right thing, like, Obi?
Yes.
Wow, I was right.
Hi.
What are you doing here?
There's a book.
Yeah, it's my book. Well, it was. I don't know if it really is mine anymore.
Oh.
We can
Do you
ask
know?
it. Do I know what?
Wait, I can ask it.
I can ask it things.
Oh. You should ask it.
Something I should point out, just as a reminder, I think I said this at the end last time, is that as the street was restored and folks were kind of looking sort of in the direction of where the book is, there was this big sort of bright burst of light that went up into the sky for a moment from that area. So that probably also did draw a little bit of attention. There are a few people on the street kind of like glancing up, and they're you know, just sort of still going back and forth, but they're like, yeah.
Well, I think I recall. It's been so long that I, Arras, am not 100% sure I remember how I had to get into this house. I think it involved me actually like climbing up a ladder and a key on the side of the
Yeah,
book.
There is a key. I don't think we specified how exactly you left it, so you can say that the key is wherever you like. I think you did lock it up, but I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure I did because I found those creepy notes and was concerned with a capital C. Well, so anyways, I guess we'll just say that I have the key on me and I like get the ladder out and I climb up and I like right before I go to unlock it, I'm like, hey, do I still own you? And you literally see me just say this to the book.
And the book sort of is, it's like as though sort of sleeping. What?
Yeah, hey, do you remember me?
I am hard pressed to... What just happened? Something just happened.
You were gone for a while, and now you're back. And I haven't been here since way before that happened.
There's been...
And I was telling people I owned you, but I'm not sure that's true.
I remember you. I remember you living here.
Yeah. Has anybody else lived here since I left? Anybody else been here since I left?
That's a very difficult question to answer.
Oh.
I mean, you've always had sort of... You've always had things here. You've always had... But it's not their entire selves? No entire people have been here, lived here, since you lived here.
By the way, no one but me can hear the book talking, so you just see me talking to the book and looking concerned, and then I'm like, I think I do still own it, but also maybe some really creepy things that I'm concerned. Anyways, I am like, well, I'm coming in if that's all right. I might bring some friends. Please don't hurt anyone. I know I had like defense systems. Don't use those. Is that okay?
The defenses have been shattered by something.
Oh, I'm more concerned now. Anyways, I open it up.
So yeah, this is basically for those who want to see. This is kind of like how you lock a diary. Only putting the key into the sort of the side lock on the book. That's why she's up a ladder. She opens it up.
My house is really inconvenient.
Yeah, is there like a title on like one side or no? Like this is.
I can't remember what the title of your house was.
It's been so long. I don't know. There's an episode where we discussed this, and possibly we could go back and. Check.
It's not possible to make out right now. It looks like the side of it is looking actually. Now you look over. Yes, Obi, you've had time to go around the house. So you see the side of it looks kind of burnt. So it's like there was a title there. You're not sure what the title is.
Anyways, the house is open now. I also don't think we described what it looks like. If the book literally opens or if there's like a door. I'm not sure.
There is a door.
There's a door.
That appears when you unlock it. You don't have to actually open the book to step inside. Not exactly. It's a little bit. There's like the cover will open. It's kind of like opening a garage door, and so it's like the book is sitting there open, and the door is on the title page. So there's a little patio on the title page. That the closer you get to it, the more three-dimensional it looks. You can then step up and possibly go in if you so desire.
I feel like while we go in, I'm gonna be like, so I was here right after I got back from the Gray, and yeah, apparently I used to do some really dangerous research. I think I maybe made weapons, ? So maybe just don't touch anything. It might be dangerous. But anyways, like go inside.
I don't know if I'm supposed to go in or not, so I'm just gonna sneak in. You can 100% see me. It's very hard to miss me. But I think I'm sneaking in with like everybody else if other people go in.
Yeah, I'll say, Obi, the last you'd heard because you occasionally had heard about Eroshka from time to time before the war happened. The last thing you'd heard is that she was off like doing some kind of theoretical magic and writing treatises on it and stuff like that. But that was over in the you know that she'd joined the Vances and all that, and it was around the same time as you were getting into the Makers. But hadn't heard about making weapons. That's a new one. So, funny thing, you're walking into this book, and I've drawn the devil.
Oh, good.
So that's 2 nemeses in a row. This is the nemesis of secrets. Its meanings are temptations, lies, charm, persuasion, words. It's most often a sign of danger. But, yeah.
Oh, good.
Possibly not. Hard to say. So, yeah. There's this hallway leading into the... So this book has 3 floors inside. There's this main entrance hallway that leads to a sort of ground floor living roomish area and beyond to a kitchen. The open front hallway has these cubby holes with what looks like the shattered remains of several glass orbs in them.
I didn't break those, right? Those were whole when I left, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
Can I just quickly peruse my bookshelves and see if I notice anything? I obviously would only know since like the last time I saw it, and not like I don't actually know what the contents of these bookshelves are. But does anything seem to be obviously missing? Like messed with.
So on the ground floor, most of the globes, it looks like, have been shattered for some reason. Some of them are still there. They're all a little scared. They're a little skittish right now. Your books. So on the ground floor, you have a bunch of books in bookshelves. They look like they're mostly okay. There is this weird kind of sheen coming off of them that I can't even explain because it's not a visual thing. But it's like I know I used the word sheen, but it's like on the level in which you communicate with inanimate objects.
So my books just feel weird.
Yeah, there's a little bit of weird. It's not like last time. They're now a little bit. Nothing in here now is resentful of you per se, as far as you can tell, at least on the first floor. Well, you've been in the hallway and the living room. But nothing in the hallway and the living room seems resentful. Everything just seems confused, perhaps a bit frightened. And this time you're not necessarily the object. You're not necessarily what they're afraid of. They're a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad as it was last time.
I'm gonna address the rest of my party at this point and be like, well, the book told me that no entire people have been here since I left, but also when I left, there were fewer broken things, and I had a security system that, well, that's it, and I like point to the shattered glass things on the ground, and my books are scared. Not of me, just in general. I point to the bookshelf. This is probably highly confusing for most people.
It's bookshelf.
It's scared.
She has bookshelves basically lining the walls. The walls kind of the living room are bookshelves. And then there's a spiral staircase going up to the second floor. There's also a little
Is that made of books too?
I think I said that one's just like made of metal.
Okay. So you lived in a book.
Full of other books.
Full of other books. It's like some sort of bookception.
Did they say what they were scared
of? Well, I haven't asked those books yet. So I'm literally going to turn to the bookshelf and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Are you okay? What happened after I left?
We've been squeezed. I think.
Apparently they're afraid of having been squeezed. They were squeezed and now they're afraid. I don't know. A partial person has been in my house squeezing my books.
Seems like an assault.
Well, so I sort of didn't mention this earlier, but during that weird thing where I disappeared for a while after the thing with the giant train clock guy, I learned that apparently my research was used to make the street disappear, / is possibly one of the reasons why they did it. So I'm really concerned about the fact that someone was in here squeezing my books, possibly learning things.
Can I just stop you right there? Is squeezing... Is squeezing books like the best way to learn? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time?
You know, I've never squeezed a book in my life. That's just what the book said. They said someone squeezed them, but I've also been told there weren't any entire people. That was the specific phrase used, which I find concerning, but suggests there was partial people here, which, given the nature of the research I apparently used to do, kind of makes sense, actually. Yeah. I was kind of vaguely considering maybe just destroying some of my books, actually. Sorry, books. I didn't say that out. Not you, just the contents. We're going to erase everything. You can still exist.
What?
We're going to put new things in you. It can be different books. Sorry.
Okay.
Do we need to
You
find
just
out?
see me
who is
calming
here?
the books. I feel like it might be a good idea to do that. Or at least who was partially here. Maybe, what's that guy that traded himself for that creepy seeker thing? Maybe he knows something.
Maybe. I don't know about you, but that guy used my house to make an entire street disappear out of reality.
Yeah.
I would be pretty pissed.
I'm a little bit pissed.
So
Yeah.
you hear a thump from above you.
Does everybody hear it or just me?
Everybody hears it.
So Mac is actually going to draw his short sword.
Either here already or here still.
Maybe. I guess we'll see the sword and be like, will you come upstairs with me?
No,
have
I
any-
mean this sword is just for show.
Oh. Well, maybe it will scare whoever's up there. I don't have any weapons at all.
No,
Do I
it's
have
fine.
any weapons in my house that I know of that I could grab?
You have many weapons in your house. Most of them
any
are
of
on
them
the
the-
third floor.
Most of them are on the third floor. That's inconvenient.
The spheres you think can be used as weapons.
I'm gonna go over to one of the spheres, but like carefully, because you said they were twitchy, and be like, "Hey,
Yeah. So there are maybe 3 spheres left, and so it's like a breach. There's a breach.
you did a good job. Can I pick you up?"
We've had a terrible breach. Our security is all over the floor.
I noticed.
It's all spilling out all over the place. It's spilling out. The stuff is spilling out. The stand by. The Nexus is leaking.
I have a Nexus. Do I know what the Nexus is?
You have... It's vague. You seem to recall it that being very important. You think you had one that you think it's tied to what powers these spheres, which means that it's etheric. You think you've got an etheric. Well, somehow you might have an etheric nexus in your house somewhere, which you'd be damned. You're damned if you can remember how the hell you would have pulled that off. But it's probably a Vance thing. But yeah,
I don't like the sound of it leaking. It's like I have a radioactive. I have like a nuclear reactor in my house. It's leaking. Ah!
I can't decide whether or not the Seeker or this is more dangerous right now.
The Seeker's gone, isn't it? I hope it's gone. That thing was creepy. I'm gonna gently pick up one of the orbs and be like, I'm just gonna take you with me. Is that okay? The orb dies.
The orb coughs. Okay.
You don't have to do anything. We're just pretending that you're gonna do stuff, okay?
Okay.
Look tough.
All right. Okay. The orb turns red and starts
Good
flashing
work.
very threateningly.
Okay. This, having acquired something that at least looks threatening, I'm
Yeah.
going to start making my way upstairs. Be like, you can come with me if you want, I guess.
Everyone, you see when Eroshka turns around, she's got this pulsing red thing in her hands that looks very dangerous.
It's harmless. It's fine. He's just looking tough. Good work.
I'm really skeptical of this, but he's just gonna Mac is just gonna talk to Sagan, his familiar, and just say, "Hey, could you just head on upstairs really quick and see what's up there?"
Absolutely. Fly. Ah! Fly. Someone just jumped out the window.
Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, Mac hears that.
Which-
That's yeah. I should explain.
yeah.
Sagan is only visible and audible by Mac. It's a little familiar.
which direction?
The rear window
Oh, all right.
to the west.
And Mac is going to blitz towards the back of the house, and he's going to crash through the window.
So there's a little kitchenette
Right
at the back of the house with a very tiny window. And you would like to crash through said window.
I'm trying to make friends with this house again.
It leads to the back porch. So yes, no, I'm not gonna make you roll for it. You dive over the sink and smash through this little window that that is at the back of the house. You come out tumbling onto the lawn and stand back up. There's this picket fence. There's a little shack back here. And there are trees. And you don't see anyone here.
Oh man, I did that all for nothing. You sure he jumped out the back?
And he flaps up. Sort of is kind of pointing, and you look up. And in the distance, you see someone in a hang glider. They're wearing a brown suit. And they're carrying something, some long object. You can barely see it as they pass into a cloud. Actually, no, it's not a brown suit. It's a blue suit.
Oh, are they out of reach of a throwing knife?
Yeah, just. Yeah, actually, yeah, they're kind of far away. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to hit them with a throwing knife from here.
Oh, damn it.
I will say that it's hard to make out exactly who that was, but something did look a little familiar.
How do you just escape with a hang glider? Man.
I don't know.
Mac is just going to sheepishly walk around the house and back through the front door.
He didn't have it when he jumped out the window. I didn't see the gravity. I was just coming. What happened after he jumped? I just came back down to let you know.
No, it's all right. We were just not ready for it. But I am concerned that they did carry out something. So we'll just have to go. He'll wander back inside and says, "Sorry, whoever it was out there is gone. He escaped by flying."
What?
But it looks like he stole something. So
I'm gonna
That's fine.
continue going upstairs. I'm gonna gently place the orb down. Well, no, I'm gonna take the orb with me just in case. Keep looking tough. And I'm gonna go upstairs and see if I notice anything missing.
Okay. Is what's everyone else doing? Is everyone else following, or is there anything else you're doing?
Yeah. I'll be following.
I'm following. I'm in the middle this time because I'm smart, and if there's something in the house, I'm protected.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm definitely following. I can be in the back.
Yeah. Shantanu, I'm going to say one interesting thing about this house is that for whatever reason, you know, ever since you cast that ritual, you've sort of had this presence of Igthamad coming and going. She didn't seem to want to get anywhere close to this house. You're ascending the spiral staircase. Let's see, floor 2, I believe, is where the master bedroom is, if I remember correctly.
I think so. I'm not sure I actually made it to the 3rd floor.
I think the 2nd floor was the master bedroom, and the 3rd floor was the study. I think that was the the blowing things up room, basically. If I remember right. So the 2nd floor, it's very elegant black tile, 4-poster bed, and there are books in the walls. A few of the books up here look a little bit disheveled, but you're getting the same feeling from them that you did from the books downstairs. There are a lot of, there's comfortable furniture up here, and comfortable but strangely cube looking, sort of what would you call it? Power furniture, yes, up here, and
a lot of power suits.
Power suits, vanity mirrors, various. There's a dresser with various accoutrements on it, nightstand, that type of thing. All manner of things. There's a big walk-in closet that has all the power suits in it. Most of them are black. Do you do anything here, or do you ascend to the 3rd floor?
If there's nothing obviously missing, I'm going to keep going up to the blow stuff up room.
All right. You head up to the blowing stuff up room. Continuing up the spiral staircase. So a lot of wood paneling, a lot of books crammed into shelves, and these are shelves with labels on them, and filing cabinets with labels on them. Everything in here has a label. And I'm trying to remember what the labeling system was, but I think it had to do with letters and numbers. I mean, the books downstairs had labels as well, but on the shelves, these are more prominent. Drafting boards, desks, and a number of, it looks like, cabinets that are open. There are a couple of the draft tables are open. There are books scattered across the room. There are bits of parchment scattered across the room. And there's this one thing, there's like a kind of, I don't remember if it was exactly a glass case type cabinet or not. This thing with a sort of a look that you remember had a big kind of bazooka looking thing in it. That's gone.
Well, darn.
You're noticing all manner of alarms going off in this room. Arushka is. These are kind of alarms tuned to something that...
They're in my head?
Yeah, basically. There's a, there's a dresser with, various, various accoutrements on it. Most of them are black. Do you do anything here, or do you ascend to the 3rd floor?
If there's nothing obviously missing, I'm going to keep going up to the blow stuff up room.
Yeah, yeah, basically. And there is this... Yeah, it's like parts of this, sections of this room have been opened up that you didn't see before. Like a couple of bookcases have clicked open and there are like passageways behind them.
Oh. Oh, well, there's a bunch of secret tunnels in my house that I maybe used to know about and forgot about. Also, there's a very large weapon missing. I think that might have been what was stolen. And I'm like also gonna like, if I can remember how, or possibly not, I'm just gonna say to the alarms going off in my head, like, it's okay, I know, you can stop going off now.
How big of a weapon was stolen?
Really big, like a bazooka gun of some variety. I mean, it's possible that was already missing, but I kind of get the idea that our friend who flew away might have been in here.
Yes.
Would I have any sort of? Sorry. Would I have any sort of idea based on the shape of what the guy flew off with that I could, maybe figure out what it might have been that they took?
The thing about the thing that he took is that it's not the kind of thing you can buy in a store. It's not actually the kind of thing you can buy from a weapons dealer per se, because this is something that Arushka built, or helped put together, rather. Arushka was not a maker, but however, what I would give you is, if you're looking around, at, we will say, a difficulty, a challenge of 3, you might be able to work out what it is based on clues that are in front of you.
Huh.
Can I help?
Of course you can.
Given that it's my house, or it used to be.
Absolutely.
I know some things about it. I don't know everything about it, pointing at the mysterious new hallways. But I've been in here since I lost all of my memories, so I remember what it looked like last time I was here.
Absolutely. So, with you helping, that'll at least bring it down to a 2.
All right. I'll deal with that.
All right. Oh, yeah. So, Mac, you and Arushka are sort of looking through papers and such to try to sort of work out what this is that was taken. And there are a lot of pieces of scraps of paper that kind of get torn plans and what have you, and things sort of indicating close to where these display cases were. And you're starting to piece it together. I'll come back to you in just a second, but first I need to check in with Shantanu and Obi, and I would like to find out what are you doing while this is going on?
I'm going around touching a lot of things that I'm not supposed to touch and kind of trying to examine them to see how they were built.
Aroshka's house is full of many weird things. Some of them probably really dangerous.
I figured, and I'm like slightly terrified, but at the same time, I'm like, I know, like, being somebody who does this for a living, like, I know how I would be in that. Nothing. You can't resist it.
Is it obvious that Aroshka definitely totally was making weapons for the war?
Well, we'll see. We'll see in just a moment. Shantanu, what are you doing while this is going on?
Shantanu is going to try and figure out why, or thinking about why Ixamad wouldn't want to be here.
Why Ixamad would not want to be here?
Yeah, like maybe perusing the book titles, seeing if there's anything particularly. All
right, cool. So Shantanu, as you're sort of puzzling this out, this is going to be a difficulty of 5, I think, because, and that's even not directly against Igthamad. It's just basically the amount of mystery surrounding her. It's going to be a challenge of 5. So I start. If you want to start looking at things, I'll have you roll in a moment. But first, I will talk to Obi. I think as far as figuring out how these things were built and all that, this is going to be a challenge of 4. This is when you tell me if there are things on your character sheet you would like to bring to bear against this. And if you have Bene in an appropriate pool, you can spend that. If you would like, or if you have skills that you would like to bring to bear, you can do that. If there's something in the environment that you want to use, you can do that. What do you think?
Okay. So I do have a skill that says anything to do with understanding, assessing, or identifying materials.
Excellent.
Okay.
How many levels do you have of that?
Just 1.
Just 1? Okay, so that'll bring it down to a 3.
Okay. I don't know what any of these. I have things in intellect. Would that help?
If you want to spend, a Bene, an intellect Bene, then that will reduce it down 1 more.
Okay, I'll do that. And that'll be.
So it's 2 or better on a D10. If you get a 10, that's actually a 0.
Okay, I see. So it's 0 to 9 instead of essentially. Okay. And I was for roll 20 is /R, right?
Yeah, you can use /R space 1d10, or you can go over to the left-hand side and hover over the die. That's an incredibly good roll. So here's the thing. You, So Aroshka did not build these by herself. She worked on most of them. These are prototypes. What remains of them? Some of them are definitely weapons. Some of them are devices for just information. Things that interact with the noosphere. Some are other things entirely. A lot of them are things bound in books, bound in scrolls. There are a lot of scrolls around here. Some of the things that were in here were written by Aroshka. You recognize her handwriting. The thing is, the things that are undoubtedly weapons, there's a lot more writing about weapons than there are physically things about weapons. All right, sorry. Then there are actual weapons, I should say. The thing that a lot of them have in common is that they have this strange kind of... Some of them don't seem to have a way to activate them. But based on what you are now remembering, the more you look at, the more you remember about what you'd been hearing about Aroshka when she went to the Vances. You think she was working on, and you see from the stray papers that are all over the place that you're finding, that, yeah, you remember she was working on something that would allow someone to communicate with, like, the soul of an object rather than, so as to be able to kind of talk to it. And so you think that's how a lot of these things are supposed to be activated. By some ability that someone has to, like, just commune directly with it. She was doing stuff involving soul displacement. You kind of remember that. Because she was always kind of interested in that. And like the last time you'd heard anything, that there'd been rumors that she was working on something that, like, other Vances were saying, this is going to drive you mad. But again, these are just rumors you heard at like a party, basically, more than anything else. Do you go to parties, by the way? I need to ask this.
Yeah, I'm that person that goes to parties and then I like sit in the corner and pet the dog.
So you may have actually even seen these other folks there's this party that goes on forever that's nearby in this tenement block. So that's also possible. It's hosted by another Vance. But there's a maker that you know that goes there fairly frequently. Anyway, as you're looking around, so you pick up on a lot of that. You pick up that a lot of it is on a lot of it being kind of well, yeah, and now coming back around to that, I should say. Some of these things that were put together, these are all prototypes, so these are all like one-of-a-kind things, pretty much. Almost like they were put together in a way as sort of just to see if they could be put together. You don't really sense any direct malevolence in their intent, although you can easily see their destructive capabilities if they're ever gotten to work. But luckily, a lot of these are things that probably would only work for someone who has been through whatever process it is that Eroshka was supposed to have discovered. The thing being that some of these you think you recognize the work of the maker that Eroshka would had to have gone to get some of the parts to make these things. And I will give you that name momentarily, whilst I dig through a couple of things. Whilst I'm digging through a couple of things, though, Shantanu, have you decided what you would like to bring to bear against this searching this information out in your mind, trying to unwrap this mystery?
Yeah. I do have the skill in searching. Can I use that?
You have the, what is it in searching?
No, it's searching. It's called searching.
Oh, sorry, just the skill. Yes, absolutely. You can use that. So that, I think I said it was 5. So that, how many levels is that?
That's a level 1.
Level 1. Okay, so that's 4.
Would magical lore help me here?
Yes, it would.
Okay, so I'll use that. That's 3. And I use Bene in, was it perception or intellect? I could do either of those.
I'd say in this case you could go with either one.
Okay. Let's go perception then.
Okay, so that'll bring it down to 2.
Alright, let's try 2.
So 2 or better.
Of course.
Gotcha. So the thing is that Icthamod is something of an enigma. And what you are able to kind of piece together is that you're not sure why exactly it is that Icthamod wants away from this, but if there are a lot of power sources in here that she wants to stay away from, it's got to be something that's like antithetical to her existence. And you've not been able to think of a single thing that should be antithetical to the existence of a true spider. So there is something very weird going on. Mac and Arushka, you finally are piecing the documents together, and you figure out which display case it is. And Arushka, this is the soul displacement gun.
Of course it is.
You remember when we talked about the soul displacement gun? This is the soul displacement gun.
Oops.
Yeah.
This is the thing I thought we should get rid of.
Well, congratulations, it's gone.
This wasn't the plan.
Sorry, did you say you had a plan?
My plan was to destroy the thing that got stolen, but somebody stole it first, so I had is the operative word. But...
Well, you know, out of everyone in the group, I always thought that Shantano was the most dangerous one, but congratulations. You have that title now. And I don't think it's just because of the fact that you have this amazing talent for creating imaginative destruction, imaginative tools of destruction, but the fact that you don't remember all of them just makes it even 10 times worse.
I think maybe I went to the Gray and decided I didn't like the person I was, and so I just wasn't that person anymore when I came back.
I think this is fascinating and terrifying that you seemingly were responsible for an entire street of people to just be erased from reality.
The Numa that I spoke to said it wasn't my fault. Also, apparently, I'm going to help them at some point, so... Yeah.
Hey, the other thing is that, you know, I left a life in the grave in which I was up to my eyeballs in debt, and somehow, in about several months of being back here in Saturnine, I am also now up to my eyeballs in debt. Which just tells me that this nightmare is very, very real. Anyway, that's just an observation. Just judging from what I see in this rather quaint house, this Bookception house. I kind of like it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way, that you are as terrifying as you are, given the circumstances. But I think I'm probably going to need to double up on my training if I'm going to, you know, keep up and stay alive.
By any chance, would you have let's call it an anti-spider gun?
An anti-spider gun? I mean, not that I know of, but that doesn't mean anything. I do have it. What was it? The thing that I had that seemed really improbable, that was leaking?
Oh yes, there's an Aetheric Nexus.
I do have an Aetheric Nexus, apparently. Not sure how I managed that one. I hold up the glowy red orb, and I'm like, oh, you did a good job. You scared off all the scared people. You can stop doing that now.
Okay. The Nexus is still leaking.
Oh, the Nexus is leaking, apparently. I didn't know they could do that.
I'm sorry, what is the Nexus exactly? Because that sounds both ominous and dangerous.
Do I, Aroshka, know what the Nexus is, or am I just like, I don't know? This orb told me I had one.
So, yeah, it's vague again, but you remember something that should kind of look like a. It's actually hard to describe, but it's kind of like if you took a couple of Mobius strips and kind of built something out of that, and they were sort of revolving in the air around each other with some sort of liquidy looking sort of gaseous, liquidy stuff moving around inside, glowing, that kind of thing. You remember a thing that looks like that. It's not... It's on this floor, it's just not in this room.
I'm gonna be like, I think it's... I'm gonna just point, since it's the only way to go besides down, at the secret hallways. I'll be like, I think it's over there. I'm not really sure what it is.
Is it dangerous for us to be in the room next to the room it's leaking in?
I don't know what it is, so...
I mean, we can't get, like, poisoned or sick from it, right?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm gonna consult the orb. I'm gonna be like, hey,
Yes.
is it dangerous to me personally that the Nexus is leaking, like over there somewhere?
Well, I mean, our standard for danger just sort of flew out the window like half an hour ago. Or a few minutes ago. But, no, it's, well, dangerous. Physically?
Yeah, like,
Only
am
if-
I gonna get sick?
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's not a slow acting thing, no. But if it doesn't stop leaking, then there will be there may be problems.
No, we're not gonna get sick, but the orb says we should probably stop the leak. Or else.
Are you taking instructions from your orb now?
It's my security system. That's its job, is to tell me how to stay safe. It's just doing its job, and I'm gonna turn to the orb and be like, good work.
But it also said, like, you need to stop the leaking or else. Was it, like, threateningly saying that? Or...
No, it was just saying that bad things were happening. It just doesn't know what the bad things are. Just that they're bad.
Okay, so how do we stop this leak safely? By the way, are you always nice to your objects? Like, were you this nice to them before you forgot who you were?
I don't know the answer to that question. Hey, Orb, did I used to be mean?
Well, is this a test?
No, I just don't remember. It's okay if the answer was yes. I don't like the old me, so if you don't like the old me, we're just in agreement.
You were very focused before you started talking to us.
Oh, I didn't used to do that. Oh, good to know. That might explain a few things.
Occasionally a little bit, but stuff happened.
I don't know if I was nice. It's very vague, which makes me think probably not.
Fascinating.
Anyways, do you know how to fix the leak? Do you know what we have to do to fix the leak?
I would think that if anyone in this house knows how to fix the leak, you do. But
oh, okay.
What there's usually you used as would you fix those with spells usually? There's a tremendous amount of etheric. The etheric coolant is vented, so a tremendous amount of etheric energy buildup is vented. It's doing I don't know what. It was a very tight beam, but there should be the parts you need should be further down the hall, in the after the exchange that leads you to the observatory.
Oh, the observatory's in here. Oh.
Well, yes and no.
Wait, what?
What
What about the observatory?
Apparently it's connected to my house, which also explains many things, actually. Sort of. But there's parts in that same direction, and I'm hoping I know what to do with them when I see them. I'm just gonna start going.
So Arushka heads around and disappears into a secret passageway behind one of the bookcases. What's everyone else doing?
Shantano might hold back a bit and be like, "Hey, you're Obi, right? Were you looking for anything around here?"
Yeah, who are you?
Shantano.
That's very helpful. I don't know. I was kind of just poking around. Arushka seems very lost with her objects.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Especially when I used to follow her around.
When you used to follow her around?
You've been following her around? I thought you were friends.
Arushka wishes? Arushka thinks they're friends.
Like, you can follow friends around.
It just seems very weird that you're just following her around. I thought you were just, hanging out.
I mean, I was following to see what their emotions were like, because they were all over the place. It was very entertaining.
What? So you think she's basically a sitcom? What? Are you just really watching her for your own amusement? Because I think it's just kind of weird that her house is basically an armory, a magic armory.
Yeah. This is new. I probably wouldn't follow this Arushka around.
I don't know. I mean, I bet she had a lot of money back then. It's kind of cool.
So how long have you been following her?
It was just a couple days.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I met Arushka about a couple of months ago. And, well, I mean, I guess that kind of explains how Shantano ended up with our little group. I'm not really entirely sure how we all got together like this.
Yeah. Usually I'm just places.
Yeah. But, I mean, Arushka has 2 houses, so I don't know, maybe I can crash at one of these places now.
Okay. Do you not have a place to stay?
No, I'm more of a couch surfer at the moment.
You might
Sometimes
wanna
I
make sure
stay at
she- Oh, go ahead.
I mean, sometimes I stay at the Church of Illuminism. Sometimes I stay at Shaw's Mine. But I don't know. I've been starting to get the feeling that Shaw doesn't really like me staying at her place. So maybe I think that she needs a break from me, which I don't really get because, I do quite a bit of cleaning in that place. Weirdest thing about her house too is that her house always rearranges itself after her nightmares. So I always just find it interesting that you just know so much about her from staying for the night as a guest. but I don't know if I would actually feel safe in this particular house, though.
Oh, most of this stuff is, you should be fine.
Do you think so? I mean, it's either this place or the abandoned theater with she cohabitates with a mine.
Mine's nice.
The mine was nice. I mean, he took us to the green on his...
Was it a chatty mine?
No.
That's unfortunate.
He was actually pretty good at it. He was actually pretty good at the mimery. Is that what they call it? Mimery? But he actually took us on a trip once on his ship. It was very fun.
I am just... Okay, I'm just gonna start accepting the things you guys say now.
It's probably better that way. I stopped asking questions a long time ago because, you know, it's just never going to make any sense to me.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, you guys, yeah. Just... So you guys met Aroshka after the change happened.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Okay.
She was there when I met Murder, though.
Wait, what did you say?
She was there when I met Murder. He's nice.
Okay. And I just start slowly backing away into the where Aroshka disappeared to.
Excellent. So let's take that moment to cut away.
I like that you've decided the maker of like weapons of mass destruction is safer than no.
So meanwhile, down the secret passageway. So you've had a little time. You went into this room, and there was a thing kind of like I described. It sort of looks like these two Mobius strips, kind of like encircling each other in midair, with this sort of glowing, sort of bluish whitish light coming out of them. Similar in color to that blast that came up from the top of your house a little while ago. This is the Aetheric Nexus. Or, well, rather, so it's a containment unit for an Aetheric Nexus, which you helped design. You're not completely sure how you did this. The thing is, okay, so ether, right? Anything that you want to have, like, say if you want to have a radio, or if you want to have a car, or some other sort of self-contained device that would, on Earth, require electricity. A telephone, what have you. In Saturnine, you have to power that using ether. So there are certain natural formations in the ether, sort of the stuff of magic. Generally speaking, most people have to siphon ether. Just kind of harvest it in certain ways. Somehow, you have a thing. It's a spell that's running, sort of keeping this going. Very long-running spell, but sort of put into this object that is supposed to, ideally, kind of co-locate, much in the way the Eternal Party does. But in this case, what it's co-locating is is an etheric nexus, a fulcrum, if you will, metaphysically speaking, within the stuff of magic. It is concentrated and can be used to basically power a lot of things if you need to.
As Obi wanders into the room, I'm just gonna be like, I think I begin to understand why so many of the Vances wanted to break into my house. Do I see any tools around that look like an obvious way to fix this? Because the orb mentioned that there would be tools that I used.
Apparently the tools are further down. There's more hallway. There's a point where the hallway sort of disappears into this strange vortexy thing, and there are tools in here, but there are spare parts apparently down that hallway.
Well, I guess I'll continue down the creepy vortex hallway. The orb said I should, so...
Why not trust the orb? So presumably the two of you are heading down the creepy vortex hallway.
Oh, I'm going. So do you want to come with me?
Oh yeah. Yep. Oh no.
Yes. So Obi and Mac were following a little bit later after their discussion.
Yeah.
And as they're entering the room, Aroshka might over here. It's like, yeah, aren't these guys crazy?
Yeah. Totally. Sure.
You say this as you hear Aroshka mumbling about the Vances trying to break into her house, which is a thing that she was aware of, apparently.
Yeah, I think so. I'm very concerned about a lot of things right now.
Shantanu, I will say, when you come into this room, and you see the Aetheric Nexus, you're thinking, this might be part of the reason why Igthamad does not want to be anywhere near this place. Apparently it's leaking.
Apparently it's leaking. So the orb said there was tools and things to fix it, spare parts over in this direction, so I'm going.
So
I'm gonna wander into the creepy vortex hallway that I don't know where it goes, but I'm hoping for the best.
Sorry, Shantanu, what was that?
Shantanu was gonna ask her. So, is there anything we can do to help?
Well, if you want, you can come look at spare parts with me and see if you can figure out how they work. I don't actually know. I'm just hoping I'll figure it out when I see them.
You don't... Okay.
Yeah, I forgot almost everything about the whole time that I was a Vance. Also, I'm apparently basically really different. Apparently, I used to be really mean.
And not treat your objects well?
I guess. Well, they said I didn't really used to talk to them, and then I started doing that at some point, and then they used the word focused and driven, which don't sound like nice words. They could be, I guess.
Right. Okay. Do you not remember from before?
No.
Okay.
Do you remember? Was I like that? I sort of remember you from school, but
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I mean, yeah, you were very focused and driven.
Yep.
I should point out, just as a reminder, the gray makes you forget. So Obi, you also have been to the gray and you've come back, and there are things you also can't remember, but you've not usually seen it as bad as Aroshka has it at this point. I will point that out. Sorry, go ahead.
I stick by my statement.
According to the Vances, seem to think that I might have been dead, maybe, ? There was discussion of my great sacrifice when I returned, and I wasn't aware that I'd made any sacrifices. of any variety, they were all really surprised to see me not dead. And then they all tried to trick their way into my house, which, as I said, I'm beginning to understand why they wanted to do that. Glad I said no.
Did they stop when you said no?
Well,
Did you just go up to them and be like, no?
Well, they were very like, oh, I need to come and get the scarf I left there. And I was like, oh, I'll send it to you if you give me your address. And then I just locked the house, and then the street disappeared. And yeah, apparently it wasn't effective because there was somebody in here stealing a really dangerous weapon.
And you don't remember how any of this works, you said.
No. Well, I have notes.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a bit for this to work, right? Like,
I don't actually think I made them. I think I just figured out how to make it work, and then somebody else made them for me. Maybe.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Anyways, the orb says there's spare parts down this creepy hallway. I was sort of hoping that I would see them and then just know what to do with them.
Yeah, oh, wait. No. What?
Do you want to help?
I was following, and then sure, I'll help. Okay.
I do want I so badly want the conversation to continue, but it occurs to me that even in a place as strange as Saturnine, that by now you would be in the next room, so I should at least tell you where you are.
Okay.
You are in a sort of it opens up into this sort of alcove-like room. It's not big. It's sort of arch-shaped. And there are cabinets along the walls. But you can see there's an archway at the end of the room, and beyond the archway, you all see the observatory. 3 of you have been here before, I think.
The last time I was here, the giant telescope told me to run away.
Yeah, there's a giant telescope through there. And there are a bunch of control panels and bunches of stuff. And so, yeah, you see all that down that way. But right here, there are, like, cabinets and things.
I'm gonna start rifling through the cabinets and see if I spot anything that looks related to my ethereal nexus.
Is anyone helping Aroshka rifle through the cabinets?
Yeah, I'll help her, just because I'm very interested in how this is going to go.
So Aroshka and Obi are rifling through the cabinets. Are Mac and Shantano doing anything in particular while this is going on?
Mac is actually going to start building a summoning circle quietly.
Yes, please, build a summoning circle right next to the observatory. Let's see what happens. I have to draw a card now. Excuse me while I do that. Real quick. No, tell me. Please, what would you like to summon?
I think I am going to summon an, say... what could possibly go wrong? Where's my poetic notes? Here it is. Okay, so I am going to summon. I'm going to do a council summoning. I'm going to try to summon an angel.
Okay. Just so... You're trying to summon a big angel or a little angel?
What's the highest that I can do right now? I think it's 5.
Okay. If you take time, then I won't.
It'll be yeah. It's gonna take 5 rounds to do.
Okay.
This.
Yeah, you're working on that. The card I drew, by the way, is the Relentless Rumor. This is green magic is up, pale magic is down right now. This is the Three of Secrets. Its meanings are endless half-truths, incessant drives, ruthlessness. There's never a real truth whispered in rumors. Searching for authenticity amid the clandestine furtive words of a rumor is a fruitless task, and yet still we try, we listen. Despite the lack of complete veracity, though, this rumor is relentless. It cannot die, and a living rumor is one not just told and told again, but believed and believed again. Addiction and relentless drives are part of this. Needs and compulsions are strong motivators, and they never stop pushing. In divination, relentless rumors suggests an ongoing action. If one is hoping for resolution, there's none to be found here. It also indicates that there's something involved, a fact, a person, a device, a spell that cannot be entirely relied upon. Okay. So, Mac is summoning an angel. Halfway between a leaking etheric nexus and a cross plane observatory. And what's Shantano doing?
Shantano's gonna be looking at the nexus, possibly looking for the leak.
Oh yeah, you're back at the nexus. Okay. So this is the thing that is very difficult to. This is the thing that should not exist, but you're an apostate, so who cares? So it's going to be just sort of eyeballing it and trying to figure this out. I think initially is going to. I'm going to set a challenge of 6. What do you want to throw at it?
So searching magical lore.
Okay, yeah, good.
I don't know if survival would work for this.
Only if it's about to blow up.
Okay.
So not yet. Soon, maybe. So you're down to 4 right now.
Can I use perception and intellect? One of each? Only
I
one.
think you can only spend one bene. I may have to double check. I think that's unless you have heard otherwise.
All right, so I'll do one perception, and so
Okay.
that's 3.
So they'll bring it down to 3. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, is there anything else you want to throw at it, or use magic or something, or do you want to just sort of leave it as is?
How big is the nexus?
So the part of it that you can see is it's about like say if you were to take 2 black cubes and stack them on top of each other, it'd be about that size.
Okay. I'm gonna do this. I don't know if it'll help or not. You tell me. I'm going to use reduction, which is my character abilities. So I'm gonna shatter into a bunch of pieces, and I'm gonna become a tiny 5-inch version of me.
Oh, you're gonna go inside? I mean, you can get a close-up look at it.
I'm gonna get a close-up look. Yes.
Okay. Oh, that'll definitely help.
Okay.
I'm gonna knock that. If you do that, I'm gonna knock it down to a 1 for you. Your challenge will be 1.
Let's go with 1 then.
You got a 1. Congratulations. Shantano's voyage inside the leaking etheric nexus. Do you actually go inside, or are you just going up to... Let me know. Do you send yourself inside, or are you...
Why not? Let's go inside.
Okay. Fantastic voyage, here we come. Yeah, you're... Oh my god. Okay. Alright, okay. Alright, okay, alright. You are awash in potential. I will discuss that potential with you momentarily, but first let's see what everyone else is doing. So, Aroshka and Obi are looking through the cabinets. Obi, you're actually you had a look at the so good. The good thing is you have a maker with you today. Obi did have a look at the at the Nexus container. It is a thing that should not be able to exist, but you at least you got to look at it.
It does.
So it does somehow.
Nevertheless, it does.
Yes. And so you were able to identify a good portion of the parts you think you're going to need. Is there anything that you... I mean, there are a couple of things you kind of need to ask Areshka about the Nexus to sort of help you figure out what parts you're going to need. Areshka does not remember a lot of the things that you need to know, so a lot of it you kind of have to guess. And you're kind of having to base a lot of it off of stuff you heard from people at the time that she was supposedly building the damn thing. Actually, well, no one knew she was building it. You don't actually, but certain things are falling into place. Is there anything else in particular, by the way, that you ask each other during this time? I'm just curious. While you're picking things up and trying to figure out which bits to use.
Do you have anything?
No.
Okay.
Okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. I felt as though I was cutting off your conversation earlier, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to.
Oh. I feel like Roshka might at some point be like, "Thanks for helping. How have things been since school? There was a war. Things been better since then?"
I mean, I mostly just stick to myself. It's fine. How have things been with you?
Well, it was really quiet for a while there, and then it's not been quiet lately.
Yeah, do you have a feeling that you maybe did this to yourself?
Yeah, I do get that distinct impression, and I don't think it's going to be over anytime soon, because I ran into this Numa, and he said that, well, there was two of us there, and he said that one of us had helped him and one was going to help him, and apparently I was not the one who'd already helped him, so I think it's going to be a while.
Okay, just maybe stop experimenting on yourself.
Good life advice.
Yeah. I don't know that you would want this to happen again. Also, there was something about these weapons, or that you were working on something that allow you to communicate with the soul of an object, and I feel like you can do that now, and these weapons seem to have, I feel like, something to do with that, so maybe not go near those.
Well, I mean, I haven't been living in this house since before it disappeared. I came back from the Gray, and the house didn't really like me, so I just left. And I've been living in the theater.
Right, they mentioned with a mime?
Well, I don't live with the mime. He just also lives in the theater. He lives in the theater proper, and I live in the costume shop,
So you're like roommates.
Shop. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe your house didn't like you because you were focused and driven and didn't treat your objects well. Just a thought.
Well, my new house likes me a lot, so. The only reason I came back is because I got the distinct impression that there was maybe some really dangerous stuff here, and I was thinking maybe I could destroy it or neutralize it. The books didn't like me mentioning the idea of destroying my research. I think that had more to do with them than the contents of them.
I mean, if you told me you were going to destroy everything about me, I don't know that I would exactly like it as either. Just throwing that out there.
True, but I don't really want other people reading the books. I don't even
There's
really want to
some-
read them.
Yeah, I went through some of your notes after you told us not to touch anything.
Oh,
And yeah, there was some dark stuff in there.
yeah.
I don't know that that's actually anything safe, so I wouldn't be against you destroying them, but now your house is gonna hate me for saying that. I feel like I don't know. I don't understand. I didn't know books had feelings.
Well, I mean, the house already didn't like me, so I'm not really sure I can make it worse.
Yeah. Fair. Just just be careful. I feel like you're a lot more attached than you realize.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that you let us know.
The house can't hear us.
Okay, yeah, so the house didn't hear me say that.
Yeah,
That's good.
You're not actually in the house right now. You've gone through, when you went through that vortex-like thing. You're now in another place.
Oh. Good. The house doesn't know. I feel like we're like talking behind its back, though.
Talking behind its spine.
Oh no. But yeah, I'll help you with this, but I just maybe also stop making weapons. I don't know if you keep doing that.
No,
but
I have not been making any weapons. I've mostly just been collecting knickknacks.
That seems harmless, and I feel like it's not, though.
Well, just, sometimes I go to like thrift stores and there's just objects on the shelves. They're just really sad that no one has bought them, so I buy them and I take them home. And then they live on my shelves.
Do you check in? Are they still sad?
Most of them seem pretty happy. We made a hat sad the other day because we wouldn't let it eavesdrop, but we were discussing really dangerous things, and it was a really Snoopy hat, so probably for the best.
Were you scared that the hat was going to tell somebody?
I don't know. It might gossip. There might be other people out there who can talk to objects. I don't know.
Maybe we should look for this stuff. How about that?
Good plan.
So, as you are picking up the final tube you think you're going to need, that's roughly when an angel is going to appear.
Oh, good.
Now, so you pick this up, Mac. You finish the summoning, and this being appears in your summoning circle. And yeah, I'm going to just... I was going to use a canonical angel, but there are certain things about the way that it is written that makes it difficult for me to understand it. So I'm going to just once again pull from the ether, and so this very tall, what looks like kind of a floral bouquet in a vase appears. It is, but actually more like, as you look at it, you realize that the things that look like flowers are actually more like wings that are now unfolding. And the vase is more the body of the thing. As it has this sort of glass-looking head and colorful wings of sort of pinks and and sort of rose blossom colored. And sort of its wings flutter out, and it turns and it looks at you with these silvery eyes, with sort of these starry silvery eyes. Why have you summoned me here? You are muted. The muted cannot summon me. No.
Well, it's a little bit of an emergency. My colleagues, he jerks his thumb over at Obi and Aroshka. My colleagues and I are trying to seal an Aetheric Nexus. Now, I'm not exactly a magic nerd, if you will, and the creator seems to have forgotten about how she designed and built her device. So I just thought that I could use a little help and seek counsel.
The angel just sort of looks over into the next room for a second, looks back. You summoned me into a place that should not be here. Why is this?
Well, as I mentioned, it was an emergency, and there are some pressing needs, like sealing this and maybe closing down this place that does not exist. So,
allow me to look around in there, and I will answer any questions that I can.
very well.
They say, pointing to the observatory.
The observatory isn't mine, is it? It's just attached to my house?
It's not yours exactly. It's one that you have used. It might be part yours, possibly?
It was also in Isabel's party, right?
Yes. Might partly be yours, might partly be hers. Probably more hers than yours. But yeah. But, Mac, if you agree to the terms, then it will... Then,
Is that what you want as your payment for your counsel?
well... I can tell by your demeanor that this place means little to you personally, so... I see that, but... This... I must find out if this place is what I think it is, and if it represents the threat that I think it does. If I can find that out, that will be somewhat helpful.
Would you consider that payment for your counsel, though?
Yes.
Or is there something else that you...
Well, yeah, I mean,
Sold!
for counsel, yes.
He goes, all right, that's the deal. Sold. Because I don't want to owe anything.
right. I presume you wish the questions answered first, as the way that this works.
Sure.
Make it easier, as I shall be moving very quickly when I leave this circle.
All right. What do you got?
If you're trying to move a nexus which is not meant to be moved, you are changing some law or other. So what you're changing is apparently the position on an underpinning that is not supposed to exist, so you create one. If the nexus is leaking, as you say, then it's been moved from its position. It is no longer fixed to the underpinning you have created. It's rather like, how would I describe it? You have hooks, right? It's rather like trying to get an article of clothing onto a hook while drunk.
That doesn't sound very elegant.
It is not. It is something that, to be honest, I would not think anyone would be foolish enough to attempt.
Oh, gosh. You would think that. You would think that.
Quite.
So you're saying it just needs to be re-anchored?
Yes.
All right.
Or let go. That is your other option, of course. Seal it off from this dimension.
What are the
Not
consequences?
this dimension, whatever
of that?
dimension you have it in. Consequences? For you? No, sealing it off could possibly kill you if you don't do it right.
Oh.
But then, of course, it depends on how far it's gone from its attachment, from where you've attached it. Reattaching it could possibly kill you.
Well, I am so glad that I'm not going to be doing this.
No. The main thing is, whatever you do, do not expose yourself to the center of the Nexus. We're going to cut over, meanwhile, to the center of the Nexus.
Wait, didn't the Shotno went there, didn't he?
Why, yes! Yes, they did!
I make good decisions.
I'm going to draw another card real quick. And I'm going to tell you what you find at the center of an etheric nexus. So, at the center of an etheric nexus, let's see. Banished Serpent! That looks good! That's the best card ever. Silver is up, gold is down. It's the Three of Mysteries. Its meanings are balance, exile, and punishment. We've had this card before. Basically, exile was self-imposed in shadow. The banished serpent was cast out, sent back from whence it came. Banishment rids us of a problem, but it does not bring it to a permanent end. It is rarely a true solution. Rather, it's most often a punishment. We banish those who have threatened us or wronged us because exile is what they fear. The fact that it ends the threat, at least temporarily, is just an added benefit. As punishment, then, it's an act of balance, an appropriate and measured response to an unwanted act. In divination, the banished serpent can be a blessing or curse depending on who is getting exiled or punished. The card may suggest that the person in question faces this fate, but it might also be someone else involved in the matter at hand. Sometimes, though, it can simply be a balancing of the metaphorical scales. It can mean that someone gets what's coming to them, whether that be good or bad. It is a settling of accounts, so to speak. Okay.
Not gonna lie, that sounds really, really bad for Sean to know.
Doesn't it, though?
I mean, it could just mean I've been banished from the Nexus.
It could. So, you know, fly into this. And again, I use the word vortex, but it's kind of a little more like going into the... You're trying to find the eye of the storm. You're pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. It's very difficult to break through all of this energy, this pure energy. But you yourself are also pure energy, so you find a way to bend with it and move inside. It's very calm, it's very peaceful, it's very quiet, and it's very dark. Gray, roiling clouds on either side of you. This is not what you were thinking to see. There's something drifting in front of you, in the distance, sort of sinewy, goes up and down, back and forth, this little green glow to it, can only sort of barely make it out for a moment. And it sort of resolves itself, getting a little bigger. So you see this almost serpentine shape swimming about in these gray clouds. And you get this feeling in the pit of your, whatever it is you're carrying with you right now, that you get a feeling in the pit of your soul, let's call it that. That's rather apt right now. That this thing is looking around for something. You also get this primal sort of lizard brain pulse quickening thing, like this is a very, on a primal level, this is a very bad thing that's in front of you. You don't get that instinct very often. You get it with this. What would you like to do?
Shantana would observe this thing that's undulating in the ether just for a tiny bit, for listening to that response. And
it takes you about a minute, and as you're doing this, you're looking and you're realizing, okay, this place's connections. This place has connections. You're a little displaced right now. You're not where you're supposed to be. This isn't quite the Nexus itself. This is a thing the Nexus is kind of punches through, or that punches through to the Nexus. You're not sure. You're sort of figuring out its positioning, and you're figuring out that the thing that's there in this gray roiling nothingness probably shouldn't be there. Doesn't look like it's a part of this. It's kind of feeding on it. This thing, after you watch it and it seems to be turning and getting closer, it sort of seems to pause as it kind of raises its head, you think? You're still a very long distance away, but it's raised its head, and these two lights that look like eyes are kind of now laser focused on you. And you see it's undulating back and forth and growing larger. And it seems to be heading right toward you. What would you like to do?
At that point, I'd be looking for a way out.
Excellent. You think you have... Now, you succeeded on your roll before, so you've cracked, you think... Yes, you see where the... You saw where the... As you were passing through, you saw kind of where the center of the Nexus is supposed to be. You just need to find your way back through it. It would be insane for me to make this thing that's coming at you the challenge in and of itself. So we're just going to say that this challenge represents your finding the exit. The challenge is 5. What would you like to bring against it?
Definitely searching.
Okay, yeah, searching.
Use one more of my perceptions.
Okay, yeah, that'll bring it down to 3.
Would survival help in this?
Survival definitely counts now. That brings it down to 2.
Is it too late for me to stealth?
If you try to hide yourself among the clouds, it might take you a little bit longer to get back, but then you could use some degree of stealth. If you get out of its line of view. It's going to be... It's not immediately where you are yet. It's coming fast, but it's hard to tell exactly how far away it is because there's very little to judge it based off of.
Right. Alright, let's try with 2 and see what happens.
All right. Let me know if you want to... Oh, 8. That's quite good. Okay. You're going to sort of turn at precisely the precise tiniest scintilla of an angle to be able to see the way out. A little glimmering whitish bluish light. And you dive for it. As this thing is left behind in the distance. Meanwhile, Mac and Aroshka and Obi. Aroshka and Obi, you've gotten your parts. Mac, was there anything else you wanted to do with this angel, or do you want to let it do its thing?
I'll relay the information that the angel had given me to Aroshka and Obi, and then I will let the angel explore the rest of the space.
Okay. The angel immediately flits out, moving like lightning. You see it looking around the observatory, and you see an expression of... It's perhaps a contained expression, but it doesn't seem happy as it looks around, especially when it looks at the big mirror. Well, it's not really a mirror exactly, but the monitor mirror thing that one of you previously saw the Seeker in. As it is standing there, you notice a couple of things that are rattling nearby, and alarms, a couple of little sort of red lights start going off in the observatory. A couple of little alarms. And when that happens, the angel then, flits to 2 or 3 more things, and then it vanishes.
Was I aware of this conversation wherein Mac gave a random angel permission to wander about my observatory?
That's up to Mac. I don't know if he was actually speaking loud enough for you to hear or not, or how close to you they did this ritual.
I would assume that since Obi and Aroshka were actually in a rather deep discussion about things, that they probably would not have heard Mac's colloquy with the angel.
Yeah.
Did I notice all the alarms going off in the observatory?
You are noticing now that there are a couple of alarms that are on. Little flashing lights. They don't look like doomsday alarms or anything like that, but they do look like, I don't know, proximity or something? You're not sure.
I briefly am like, why are all my alarms going off in the observatory? Didn't see me kind of looking briefly. And then I'll be like, what was this about don't expose yourself and we might die fixing this thing?
I'm just relaying information that I got from a fairly reliable source. I don't know what kind of magic you were involved in, but I am both impressed and horrified by the ramifications of your workings. But anyway,
honestly, I don't really know what I was doing either. And I'm also kind of horrified. But, do I need to this information makes it sound like it's not a physical fix that this thing requires. Did I just gather all these random tools for nothing?
Well, I will say that you're not completely sure. Obi probably will realize that you should still be able to... Yeah, this is the physical side of it. You still need the tools. You still need the parts to keep the containment going. And you're actually, yes, you're going to use them to interact with wherever the the center of the spokes, as it were, on the Nexus. That's kind of the one of these parts is basically the hook, the metaphysical hook you're going to be using.
While metaphorically drunk?
Yes. A metaphysical hook you use while metaphorically drunk.
Oh, good. What do I need to do to fix it? Am I rolling something? Am I...
Well, let me tell you. What are you heading back to the Nexus, or are you?
Yeah, I want to get it fixed.
Okay.
Given that I think it's the thing that blew up.
So I presume you folks are heading back to the Nexus, and so you're back in the Nexus chamber, and what does it look like, Wilde, when Shantano comes spilling out of it? Because this is what they see as they arrive.
One of those things where it's like, he comes spilling out. He's just laying on his back. They're just staring up at the ceiling.
So the Shantano just got reassembled in front of you, lying next to the Nexus. It seemed like their pieces were coming and flying out of it, and lying on the.
Good Lord! Were you just inside that thing?
Yeah, I didn't recommend it.
I think we were just explicitly told not to do that. Mac, I don't suppose your very reliable source said why.
No, but I imagine that if we were discussing that this was the underpinning of a section of reality that messing with it in a irresponsible manner would probably lead you to be unraveled in reality. That would be my guess, but I'm not the weapons of mass destruction expert here.
Right.
I was in.
Oh, good lord! It's Shantano is frozen.
Shantano is frozen.
Oh my god. That's what happens when you go into the Nexus.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh man. Hopefully they will be back in just a moment. Let's see see where we are here. Oh gods. Yeah, hang on just a sec while I adjust something real quick. If I can. Excellent. Here we go. Good. I think we're gonna get him back. Hey.
Hey.
How was your trip into the Nexus?
Could have been better. So I was saying, so inside there was a bit of reality.
I'll say it almost reminded you of the gray where you were while you were there, but not the gray. Definitely not. At least not as you've seen it.
If that's the case, we might all want to venture in. There seems to be something dangerous feeding off of it.
I seem to attract a lot of really dangerous things.
I'm pretty sure with y'all's help, I could definitely find out what that was.
I will just mention that if this is repaired, for those of you who are just sort of kind of grasping a little bit about it, if this is repaired, it will probably, at least if it's like a gateway of some kind, it won't exactly close the gateway, but it'll keep it back to only flowing in one direction, if that helps. But it'll probably make it work so that only ether is coming through. But at the same time, up to you folks.
Well, I kind of get the impression that this thing is maybe dangerous, and I was kind of planning on getting rid of the dangerous things in my house. But I also get the impression that I don't know, do you think it'd be more dangerous to try and destroy it or close it or stop it or whatever versus fixing it?
I was getting the impression that it would probably be safest if we just fixed a leak and move this to where it should be. I'd hate to think what would happen if we just shut it off completely.
Okay. So I guess we'll try and fix it then.
You don't sound very confident. Should I?
I don't remember how I made this. I wasn't even aware it was possible. I don't think I actually built it. I think I just designed it and somebody else built it. So we're going to see how this goes. Yeah.
Okay.
think I would rather be dealing with the Seeker right about now.
And it's always good to go into things not knowing how it'll turn out. That's how I make new friends.
Yeah. So it does occur to you sort of thinking about it that that Shantano has just been through and has probably been through the part that you're trying to hook.
Well, that seems useful.
Obi, you think you can kind of now, while you're looking at this, you think again this shouldn't exist, but if it did exist, you think you can kind of figure out maybe how to do this, probably.
Okay, help. Like I think I can help. I'm very confident.
The challenge will be 7.
No. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. My question is, who wants to lead and who wants to help? I think that's really what we're coming down to here.
I feel like it would be unfair to my new friend / old friend that I saw again to be like, hey, do this dangerous thing for me and I'll help.
I'll take it.
I will lead. Unless you wanted to lead, I will lead, and that way if something really bad happens, I'll be in front.
Excellent.
Yeah. But speaking of that 7, well, I have a level 1 skill of magical lore.
Okay.
Does it help? Is it any different? Would it help any further that I built it?
Okay, so I'm going to knock it down to a 6 for the magical lore. I'm going to knock it down to a 5 for the fact that you built it.
Then can I get, because Obi is helping, does that bring anything to it?
Obi, what skills do you want to throw at this?
Well, I have that anything to do with understanding, assessing, or identifying materials.
Okay.
With that.
Wow.
You know, I took woodworking and I realized how useless this is now.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize we weren't going to... Yeah, I wasn't thinking. Perhaps it should have been made out of wood. I don't know.
Yeah, I could. Well, because I could have taken metalworking, and I feel like that would have been a lot more useful.
This is kind of more like glass blowing. I think that's probably the closest to what this is.
Good. I mean, am I allowed to spend any of my things to help, or no?
I don't see why not.
Okay. I would like to use another of my intellect.
Okay, sure. That'll knock it down to a 3.
Would searching help at all? Or is this no longer the,
Well, it might, because you are going to have to look for the, you're kind of going to have to look for the, for the place to attach the hook.
Yeah, you have to find things and find the right.
You have to look for the entry point on the Nexus. Now, part of that might be helped by the fact that Shantano knows where it is. If Shantano would like to help, but that is up to Shantano.
Ooh.
I'm going to help.
Okay. So that and plus searching will knock it down another 2. Hang on. My fingers have betrayed me. I was at 5, right?
You started at 7, and we took off 1 for magic lore and 1 because I built it.
Yeah.
And then Obi's helping with 1 or 2 things?
I have 2 things. I had
2, 3.
anything to do with understanding.
I think we're down to 1. I think we're down to 1.
I like those odds.
So you need to roll a 1 or... So, Aroshka, you need to roll a 1 or better.
I'm just rolling a 1d10, right?
You're gonna have to use magic.
Okay, so I will 2d10. Will it just be sortilege or?
Yeah, you'll spend a sortilege because this is So you're gonna need a 1 or better on 2d10. So you need 2 successes. So as long as neither of them are.
Oh.
Okay.
That was like the worst possible outcome.
So the magic works, and you're sort of assembling it. Obi is assembling it. Shantanu is kind of just sort of like pointing out metaphysically where the thing is, where the center of the wheel is, as it were. And so you think you've got it assembled, and Aroshka, you're sort of listening to it. It sounds like a cacophony of voices. It's hard to pick out an individual voice. And you think you get it to the point that you've sealed it, and you've got it in place, and you're now just basically positioning it, and it seems to be working again. Does anyone remember that scene in the original Ghostbusters movie when they go downstairs and they turn off the containment unit?
It's been a long time, but yes.
So
I've never seen Ghostbusters.
That's okay.
Oh no.
So that's all right. But so it seems to be working perfectly, and you hear like things in the house power back up, and the globe is like working. Oh no. And you see the globe begins flashing a much more dangerous looking red, and you hear and Aroshka, what you hear is this globe crying at the top of its lungs, "Run!"
Oh, good. I'm going to attempt to run then, / scream run at everyone else in case, because I know they didn't hear the orb.
Which way are you running? Are you going to head down, or out and down, or are you heading back in toward the observatory? Where are you heading?
I feel like the observatory is not a very safe place to be, actually.
Okay.
So I'm probably going to run in the direction of my house and try to bring other people with me.
All right. So you're doing it. So yeah, everyone. What's everyone else doing?
Once I see Aroshka bolt for her house, I'm going to do the same.
Not staying.
Wait. What? Sean, did you say you're not staying, or you're staying?
I am not staying.
Not staying. Okay. Obi?
Yeah, no, I'm running.
All right. Dashing out down the freaking stairs, this spiral staircase, this metal staircase. The walls are kind of rumbling. You see books falling from shelves. Things, teacups and things on shelves shattering as everything is rumbling. You dash for the front door. You leap out just in time to see once again this much larger beam of light come arcing up from the book, from the spine of the book, as the pages are all sort of rattling. The house is not supposed to do this. The top of the book, top of your house, the book has been blown off as this surge of white and blue and green energy comes arcing up into the sky. Everyone on Limerence Street turns and is just looking at this.
Well, shit.
The pages of the book flutter and flutter. And as this energy stops arcing up and you see things dispersing from it, that sort of turn wispy and fade away. You're not sure what they were. And the book sort of rests at an angle and slams shut. But you're safe. You made it out. And you're pretty sure that Nexus no longer exists. Probably? At least on their end of it. I think that's where we're probably going to bring this to an end, unless anyone has any last-minute sort of things they want to make sure they get out of the way at this point. Is there anything anyone wants to do as they see this merry nuclear-level blast going up into the sky and things drifting away on it?
Wow. I don't know how you're going to file an insurance claim on this.
I think that would be ruled my fault. I'm pretty sure I did that. I mean, it's not my fault it was broken. I didn't break it. But I did build it. Maybe.
Well, you tried. And I guess that's all that anyone could really go for. But kudos to you, Obi, for nearly pulling that off.
That's why they call me nearly pulling that off, Obi.
How surprised do the other people on Limerence Street look?
They're very shocked. This is not the sort of behavior they expect to see from this house.
Rolls back up and blows some stuff up. It's like, well, you know, I was planning on destroying that stuff anyways, so...
I mean, I was going to ask if I could just house sit for you and, you know...
If you can figure out how to get into the house again, you're welcome to stay in it.
No, I think Shaw's place is going to be a little more cozy compared to this. Even if all my stuff constantly gets displaced.
I like that the haunted mine is better than my book.
All right, I think on that note, we're going to bring this session to a close. Thank you all very much for playing. I didn't know how long we were going to spend in the house. There was other stuff to do on Limerence Street, but this was very entertaining for me, at least.
So come back and are like, "What'd you guys get up to while you're gone?" It's like, well, so I blew up my house. Not the one I currently live in, so it's okay.
Yeah. You didn't like that house anyway. And you did recover an orb.
Oh, yeah, so I saw him, so I'd be like, I'm so sorry, or you did a good job. You did a good job. Like, gently pat it. You can live in my new house on the shelves. No one ever bothers me there. There's a mime.
Oh, good. The orb is traumatized. All right, folks, we're going to go around and do our outros. Sorry for keeping you all so long, but this was delightful. And feel free to say again who you are, where folks can find you, and any thoughts you have about this session, or any standout moments, bits for you that you would like to mention. And we will start with our guest, Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Smallish Sam. I play on the Scraticus Academy on Thursdays. Yep, at 10 p.m. Oh, I have not ever had to say that, so I'm glad I remembered. Yeah, that's I love everything about this. But I especially love when Wilde and Anino took me out and just started talking to me about everything that was happening as if like it's totally normal. Like, oh yeah, so this is happening and so is this. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But yeah, it was a lot of fun overall.
Awesome. Something also I'm going to do along with the outros, because I almost forgot this time, is Joy and Despair, which is the thing we go around at the end. So anyone who... I'm going to give everyone one acumen for dealing with this, because there was progress at least. Things changed as a result. And then if you think that there's anything that you might have gotten joy or despair from. So, Sam, is there anything that you think you might have picked up a joy or a despair from this encounter?
Yeah, a lot of despairs. All the despair.
Okay, so
yes.
From why does Obi despair, do you think? If you could pick one thing to mention.
Oh, just like this, like all of a sudden he's in this place with a bunch of weapons, and then one of these weapons starts leaking, and he tries to fix it, and it blows up.
Okay, no, that makes sense, yes. Despair for you, then. You get one despair.
Yep.
And now let us move on to Anino.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Anino. You can find me on Twitter at Anino Gaming. I think my favorite part of the story was when Mac had summoned the angel, and the angel just mentions, like, whatever you do, don't travel to the core of the Nexus. Just as Shantano reduced himself into a 5-inch version and entered the Nexus. I think that was very, like, exquisite storytelling right there. Anyways, let's see. You can find me on a number of places, but you can tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on this channel for the exciting debut of Ghost of Saltma, which is a mashup of both D&D's Ghost of Saltmarsh campaign and Mage Hand Press's Dark Manor campaign. So we've got space pirates, haunted space detectives, eagle druids, gnomes, mermaids in weird aqua suits, and all sorts of good stuff coming your way. So I'm really excited about it because it's the debut of 3 or 4 new voices to the TTRPG community, and I think that it'll be a lot of fun. So,
yay! And do you think that Mac got joy or despair today?
I think Mac would get a joy because he summoned level 5 spirit, which is the highest he's ever done to this date.
Yeah.
I feel like he should get a despair too, just because of the fact that he put his whole mission, quest, or purpose on hold to help see what's going on with Aroshka's house, and it ended up sidetracking him completely, also nearly costing him his life too. So
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. All right. Yeah, we can. You get a whole crux. And let's head over to Wilde.
Yes, hi, I'm Wilde Engineer. You can find me here, and starting February 8th on Saturdays at 1 p.m. on EST, I'll be on Pro Restart's channel for some D&D in a Tal'Darai setting. I'll be playing an half-orc, and you can see my alternate take on Rage.
Ooh.
I think my favorite part of this whole game was having to explain to Obi all the crazy stuff I've done with a straight face.
That's so good.
And knowing that I, as Shantano, make great decisions.
Shantano makes awesome decisions. Dramatically awesome decisions. Do you think you got joy or despair today?
Neither, because Shantano hasn't learned anything.
That's fair. That's fair. There's a lot going on. Awesome.
To be honest.
It's good. It's good. Honesty is good. All right, and finally we will head over to Arras.
Hello, my name is Arras. I'm Animus Panthera, Animus.Panthera, practically everywhere, although I'm most active on Twitter. I'm a real-life zoologist, and I also love cosplay and tabletop gaming, and I love talking about all those things on the internet. The only place you can see me play games right now is right here on Saturdays, playing Invisible Sun, blowing stuff up like a responsible wizardy type.
So close.
We were so close to doing something really cool and fixing my house, and then we blew it up instead. Sorry, all those books I promised I wouldn't destroy. I messed that one up. Speaking of which, I do feel like Aroshka maybe is despairing a little bit.
You think?
Not only did she blow up her house, but she had to admit to all of her friends that apparently she was a really bad person back in the day.
Yeah, I think that definitely warrants a despair. You will get a despair for this session.
Yay!
I am not sorry for suggesting that either. I'm like, oh, are you always this nice to your things?
They used the words driven and focused.
They did. Are there any other thoughts you wanted to express about the session? Or are we good?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. All right. All right, folks. Well, as for me, I'm Jim. And you can find me here at OtherDoc here on Twitch and also on Twitter, also at OtherDoc. My website is JimYesThatJim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I've got new revamped links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, some of my fiction and games I've been working on and posting on itch, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. I have now finally opened up applications for that. Here on this channel, as previously mentioned, tomorrow night we have the premiere of our Dark Matter campaign, Ghosts of Salt Maw. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We've been getting crazy excited about it, and I just want to see what happens. Monday nights, I'm over on Tales from the Grim, running Deadlands, The Road to Desperation. On Wednesday nights, here on this channel, back here on this channel, we have a Masks campaign running now. We just had our session 0 of it. The title of the campaign is Doctropolis, Rebels with a Cause. So that's going to be very cool. We had a very cool world building session last time, and I cannot wait to dive into the RP. And of course, 1 week from today, we shall have more of this. Hopefully we will have fewer incidences of giant books blowing up or houses blowing up. But we'll see. You never know.
We are definitely not good for anyone's real estate.
That's fair. That's very fair. And for anyone who's wondering, sign-ups are open right now for next month's short campaign. We're going to bring those back on Tuesday nights. Mini campaigns, monthly mini campaigns. The one for February will be Apocalypse World. Sign-ups are open right now through Wednesday the 29th, so there are only 4 days left if you want to sign up. So that's there. Also, sign-ups are open for Fall of Magic. We're going to do 2 one-shots of Fall of Magic, which is a collaborative storytelling game that uses a map. It's a lot of fun to play. It's about a world where magic is dying, so it's also sometimes sad. But we're going to have that on this channel for the first time, and sign-ups are open for that as well. Those 2 one-shots, which are going to be on Sundays, which is when we do one-shots. You just go down below to click on RPG sign-up, or go to JimYesThatJim.com, click on Game Sign-up. As always, beginners are welcome. When we hit the end card, I'm going to send a raid over to Happy Jack's RPG, because they're doing they've been going for like 24 hours now, I think, doing their marathon for Rainbow Railroad. It's a charity marathon they've been doing for It's I think at least a day now, so they must be getting very tired. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. Farewell.